Welcome to WayWut, your weekly verbal double take. This is a rabbit hole podcast where a couple of old guys do moderate to shallow dives into various topics, ranging from true crime, paranormal, sports, pop culture, or anything else that we find interesting. We drop episodes every Tuesday and on Fridays if we feel like it. You can follow us on Facebook, X, and TikTok. We appreciate you joining us. And now that we got all this self-promotion stuff out of the way, here we go.
Why, hello there, and welcome to your weekly verbal double take. My name is Jason, and today I am the Postmaster General, combing through all the fan mail as I bring us another topic that made me say, "WayWut." And joining me, probably a little sick from licking hundreds of envelopes, is Daryl Holiday.
I was going to say, is combing through our fan mail similar to you combing your actual hair?
Yeah, it'll take no time at all. It's, or, I'm good.
Be like, I need a finger comb, and I only need one finger.
Yeah, when I get out of the shower, it's one swipe with a towel, and my hair's dry.
Not for me. It takes a while for my hair to dry. So I try to shower in the morning so I don't have to go to bed with wet hair and wake up with it being all like...
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that either. I could probably have the same bottle of shampoo for about 2 years. Just a little. That's all it takes. I don't do the repeat part, and I just do the rinse and lather part, or the lather and rinse part. Well, the saying, "you have one job," could not be truer in many professions. I am not going to pretend like I know what it's like to do any of these jobs. Some are tough. Some require battling the elements. Some require weird hours or just physically demanding. Regardless, at the end of the day, you have one job. Trashmen have one job: pick up the trash. Your server at your local restaurant has one job: give service to your table. Your postal worker has one job: deliver your mail. Unless you are my postal worker who completely misunderstands the assignment of delivering my damn mail. For those of you that may not know, I have what you would call a blood feud going on with my postal worker. It has been going on for almost half a year now. Here is a brief rundown of our feud.
Wait. Before you get started, I gotta say, have you looked her in the eye yet and said, I hope you get dozed?
It's coming. Shit is coming. Right. And before I get even further started, this is actually a series, not a series, but the first of 3 that were actual requests. And this one was actually a request by your wife, Daryl.
Mine?
Yes, she was interested in my feud with the postal worker. So,
I thought she wanted more shorts, but you're going to give her okay.
Yeah, so this inspired this episode.
Oh,
so
that's 2 she's done so far. Your wife's slacking.
Oh, she's given me plenty of ideas.
Oh, okay.
She's never actually
you just never give her credit.
She helps me with a lot of these. She really does.
You just don't give her credit till now, until you get called out for
it. You're right. Thanks a lot, Daryl.
You're welcome.
Well, like I was saying, this feud has been almost going on for about almost half a year now. Here is a brief rundown of our feud. We have received complaints that our cars were blocking the mailbox.
For those of you listening, he did very sarcastic air quotes afterwards. You got to remember, theater of the mind here. Not everybody's watching us on YouTube.
Well, these complaints consisted of her handwritten a piece of paper and putting it in our mailbox saying she's not going to deliver our mail unless we move our car. And the thing was, our cars were not blocking the mailbox. She just refused to not have an easy pull up to the mailbox. She didn't want to have to use that R button on the little gear shift to go backwards. I get other people's mail at least 2 to 3 times a week. We have filed numerous complaints against our mail carrier for not delivering our mail. We have made countless trips to the post office to retrieve our mail, with the post office employees remembering my address And I live in a county that is one of the fastest growing counties in the entire nation. And yet they know who I am when I come into this one post office. That is incredible. And I don't have a P.O. box or anything like that. I just go up there to pick up mail that's supposed to be delivered to my house. We have received several calls and emails from credit card companies, our water company, and the toll authority requesting an updated address due to undeliverable mail because she sends it back.
Oh man, this is getting worse.
Yeah,
I mean, like seriously,
I have a
this is
toll that was over $100 because although $7 of it was the actual tow, there was like $90 worth of late fees because I never got the letter in the mail.
Did you go get the toll tag so that they would like wipe all that
Well, I
off?
have a toll tag. This was when we got a new car. Didn't have the toll tag
Oh,
set up on yet, whatever. But yeah,
did they
uh,
wipe it out? The wait late fees, anyways.
yeah, I told them what happened. They
Uh,
wiped it all out. It was fine, but
okay.
just the having to do all that when I didn't have to was a pain in the ass. She finally got shadowed by a supervisor to watch her do her job. And the only reason I know this is because I watch her almost on a daily basis delivering my mail. And one day I was watching and she was delivering the mail, and there was another postal truck a little behind her, watching her do her job and just kind of going with her from house to house.
Okay.
Uh, but now she has driven a rut in my yard, totally done on purpose. I will send you a picture and we can post it when I'm talking about it here. I watch her drive up to my mailbox and she just gets up in my yard and comes back down. So she don't have to get her fat, pudgy arm out to reach my mailbox.
Wow, this woman is spiteful.
Yeah. Of course, I mean, it's not that huge, but knowing she drives up on a curb and intentionally goes into my yard just so she can reach my mailbox better is pretty freaking nerve wracking, and I want to put something sharp in the yard so she gets a flat tire.
Um, I know I brought this up last time because I don't know, it makes fucking sense. Have you considered just getting some just cheap cameras and stick it in your yard so that you can come to them with video evidence?
Well, we recently got the Ring camera, but it does not show the mailbox.
Ring, you can buy you can buy additional cameras that will connect to it. Which
Yeah.
honestly, in your neighborhood, I would recommend anyways. Hey, don't you
I
laugh,
know.
but last time I stayed in your neighborhood, somebody got shot. So or
Hey,
shot at.
it's, I don't know what to tell you. It is going a little downhill. We actually had some random person walk up to our door the other day. And luckily, we had our new Ring doorbell camera. So it showed somebody coming up to the door, had no idea who they were. They stood there for a second, they turned around, and then they left.
Oh
Never
wow.
knocked on the door or anything. I don't know what they were
The
doing.
fact that people do anything kind of that brazen in Texas cracks me up because I'll tell you now, they're just, I'm always within fairly good proximity to a gun.
Uh-huh.
If
Yep.
somebody would get a little bit too crazy trying to get in my house, they're going to get to leave with extra holes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how it is in Texas. Lots of guns.
Yeah, I mean, it's just if that's what you want to do with your life, move to one of those states where they'll just be like, "Hey, don't do that," and then let you back out on the streets. Don't do it where somebody's going to put a bullet in your ass.
Yeah.
I mean,
That will.
think of your children.
Well, I don't know when this blood feud will end. Regardless of when or how it ends, and regardless of me calling it a blood feud, this is just a mild nuisance at someone not doing their job. I am not going to fly off the handle and do something rash, and I don't start that over. I am not going to fly off the handle and do something rash, and I don't see myself going postal. Now,
Ha 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 ha.
yeah, going postal is an idiom, something I know a little about. This is what we will dive into today. Now, the phrase going postal originated in the United States during the late 1980s and early 90s. It refers to a person becoming uncontrollably angry or violent, often in a workplace setting. The term first gained traction after several violent incidents involving the United States Postal Service. Between 1986 and 1997, there were more than 20 workplace shootings involving the postal workers, resulting in deaths of over 40 people. These
Because
tr-
it's obvious that postal workers have bad attitudes.
Absolutely, I totally agree.
Except for my grandfather. He had a wonderful attitude. He was a postmaster and one of the most wonderful men on the entire planet. So, except for him.
Mm. Well, these tragic events led to the phrase becoming part of the American vocabulary, symbolizing workplace violence and extreme frustration. But why at the Postal Service? Workers often describe the United States Postal Service as a place with unrealistic productivity, high stress environments, rigid management structures, and lack of employee support systems with little regard for mental health. Not unlike most jobs, but it was still was the perfect recipe for mayhem.
I know a postal carrier, and not that long ago, I was hanging out with a bunch, and I got to hear about how. I mean, I imagine it was way worse back then,
Mhm.
uh, but it's not near as bad now. But it's still not pleasant. It's
No.
a hard job. It is a hard job. I will say this: it is a hard job in places that are not Texas. Because in Texas, I got an unrealistic expectation because like the majority, like the vast majority, I would be willing to say 80, 90% are you're going to drive up somewhere, put the mail in a box, and drive off. Except for like apartments where you'll just go to one spot, you'll just
One
fill it
spot
all
makes
in.
it even easier.
Which, yeah, oh yeah, the dude that I know, he said those are his favorite. He could do those all day. Um, but he also does walking routes, but those are more, I think, up north
Hmm.
and in other places. I mean, I've seen a couple walking postal carriers around here, but it is
Yeah,
rare,
like in Greenville
super
area,
rare.
Greenville
It's
Avenue
in
area.
the older towns. So like there's an old town in Mesquite, the old areas in Mesquite
Hmm.
where it had the mailboxes
On
up by
the
their
by the
front
door.
door. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you don't see that too often here.
No, no, you don't. The first example I was going to talk about was from Edmond, Oklahoma in 1986. The backstory: the United States Postal employee Patrick Sherrill was described as a socially inept loner. He was unable to hold on to a job for long and always blamed management for his problems. He had a fascination with guns and he was a member of the U.S. Marines and active participation in the Oklahoma Air National Guard, in which he became a small arms expert. Frustrated at being formally disciplined by his postal supervisor several times, Sherrill had two occasions threatened revenge. After receiving a reprimand on August 19th, he reported to work on the morning of August 20th armed with three semi automatic pistols and ammunition. He entered the facility, shot his supervisor to death, and tracked his coworkers through the building, killing 14 and wounding 6. He then killed himself. Th-
Of course he did because he's like I can't handle prison. It's too hard.
Yeah. This massacre shocked the nation and marked the beginning of the association between workplace violence and postal workers. This event also coined the term going postal.
Yeah, that it's spread on a lot of things because one, there's a video game called Postal, which is imagine like if GTA or Grand Theft Auto for you people who don't play games is like a million times worse, where it is just trying to be offensive just
Mhm.
constantly. It's like, oh yeah, let's shoot babies out of a cannon, or whatever. That it's really bad. Uh, and then what? Another thing that's made me think of is you've seen the movie Demon Knight, right?
Demon?
With
I don't
Billy
think so.
Zane.
I don't
Oh,
think so.
dear God, Jason, you and your bad not seeing movies. All right, you need to get online. It's a Tales from the Crypt movie. It's the very first Tales from the Crypt movie that they did.
Hmm.
Whenever they did two, the second was Bordello of Blood, and it wasn't very good. But Demon Knight, it's got Billy Zane, William Sadler, Jada Pinkett. It is freaking awesome. It is an amazing movie. But at one point, there's a postal worker character that whenever they're needing they're needing a way to fight some bad things. They go to they end up in the postal worker's room and he has a lot of guns. They're like, what the fuck? Because that was the gag back then. It's
Yeah,
just, postal workers are crazy.
leaning into the stereotype of that time.
No, seriously, you go fucking watch Demon Knight. Like, you don't have to watch it after we're done recording because it'll probably be too late for your old ass. But
Mm-hmm.
I expect you to watch it by Sunday.
Mm.
So that gives you
Okay.
a handful of days.
All right, we'll see
I'm
about
giving
that.
you an entire weekend. And if you don't watch it, I'm going to be pissed off at you.
Oh
And I'm
yeah,
going to shame you. It
I'm
is an
writing it
amazing
down
movie.
now.
Billy Zane is so good in that movie.
Yeah, if he could pull off being a zombie, not a zombie, a mummy, if
Billy
you
Zane
will.
wasn't the mummy.
Oh, he came back and you know what I'm talking about.
What? No, I
And that
don't.
and you never seen the mummy?
I've seen the mummy. Billy Zane's not in the mummy.
I guess we're not talking about the right person then. Who plays
Are
the
you thinking
bad
of
guy in Mummy?
some guy an Egyptian of some sort or Middle Eastern person that I don't know the name of?
We talking about the one with Brandon Fraser? Brendan
Yeah,
Fraser?
Billy Zane was not in that. Just because he's a bald guy that's probably good looking does not mean he's fucking Billy Zane.
Oh, I thought that was Billy Zane this whole time.
No, Billy Zane is like super pasty white.
The guy in Titanic?
Yeah, he was the douchey fiance in
Yeah.
Titanic. I loved him in that movie too.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Those guys look a lot alike.
Oh dear God! So the Egyptian doppelganger of Billy Zane. All right, now I got to look up who this guy is because this is going to get on my nerves. Because I will not have you mistaking anyone else for Billy Zane. Billy Zane is a unique and amazing actor, and I will not hear anything otherwise. The Mummy.
Not the one
All
with
right.
Tom Cruise. I ain't even seen that one.
No, not God. No, I wouldn't watch that. I wouldn't watch that shit with your eyes. All right. So the guy that played Imhotep in that was a fellow by the name of Arnold Vosloo. He is from South Africa,
Oh,
so not Egyptian. I don't know if it is. Doesn't look like his family's any sort of Middle Eastern. He fooled me. But then again, you know, I'm a redneck Texan guy, so I'm not going to be able to discern the differences between a lot of different things.
hell, I
So
thought he was a completely different person.
it's because you're retarded.
All right. Example number 2. This one happened in Ridgewood, New Jersey in 1991. Joseph Harris started his life in prison as he was born there. He had a
Oh,
lifetime of psychiatric problems.
you
He was
think?
a, yeah, not a good way to start your life.
No.
He was a postal worker that was eventually fired on April of 1990. Being one to hold a grudge, he started stockpiling weapons that included automatic weapons, grenades, and, Daryl, this is going to be your favorite, ninja swords.
Who?
On October 9th, 1991, Harris went to the home of his supervisor, Miss Carol Ott, and killed her using one of the swords before shooting her fiance, Cornelius Caston. The next morning, Harris then went to the Ridgewood, New Jersey post office where he had previously worked. There, using an automatic weapon, he murdered 2 postal employees, Joseph Vanderpow and Donald McNaught. A standoff occurred that lasted over 4 hours. He was eventually arrested. The post incident investigation linked Harris to a previous breaking and entering crime in which he committed 3 grapes,
Thank you.
and a murder. That crime occurred in Montville, New Jersey, where Harris reportedly broke into the home of his investment banker, dressed all in black as a ninja, and took the family hostage. He reportedly uh, messed them up sexually. The,
Ew.
the investment banker's wife and both daughters before shooting and killing the investment banker himself.
Oh, what a twat.
Yeah, in court, Harris attempted to use an insanity defense, but he was convicted of both the Montville murder of the investment banker as well as the murders connected to the Ridgewood post office.
What state was this in again?
This was in New Jersey.
Oh, god damn it. It means he's not going to be executed. Go on.
Yeah, he was. Oh, actually, it says here this was in 1991, so they may have had the death penalty at that time. He
Oh,
was sentenced to death and housed on death row in the penitentiary, and he died of natural causes in prison in September of '96.
okay. Yeah.
Man, he went
There's still
crazy.
plenty of states out there that have death penalty. They just don't damn use it.
Mm-hmm.
California is like one of the worst about that.
California is
Uh,
worse about a lot of things right now. Sorry,
hey, most of our,
California
I
guys.
think most of our, not most, but a significant portion of our listeners are Californians. So
Well, I'm not
watch
saying.
yourself.
Well, they have no effect on the laws and the shit that's
Yeah,
happening
they do.
there.
Anyway, uh, oh God, when you were talking about this dude being like crazy from the get go, I
Hmm.
found myself getting pissed off because there was a time in my life when I was in my early 20s where I was a little bit lost trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And I was kind of in between jobs. And my grandfather, who was a former postmaster, along my dad was like, "Go work at the post office. Go work for the post office. It is you'll start at the bottom, but work your way up. It's a great career. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be a great career." And I did not even get an interview. And now looking back, I'm like, when I filled out that application, I should have been putting shit like previous occupation, God of all things. Before that, murderer of kittens or
Yeah,
something like that. They'd be
arms
like,
dealer.
this guy has what it takes to be a postal worker. Get him in here. Instead, I was like, I like to work hard and do good. And they're just like, oh fuck him. Get him.
Yeah,
No,
he don't have the right
throw that,
attitude.
no,
He will not make it. This
no.
snowflake will melt. All right, I'm going to end on a pretty good one as far as a story goes.
Okay.
Uh, this one is in Goleta, California, in 2006. Jennifer San Marco was employed as by the Postal Service as a clerk. She had a history of bizarre behavior and mental health issues. There are several instances of her mental issues, including speaking, shouting to herself, ordering food at restaurants and bolting out the door before eating it, stripping naked in public, often in random parking lots,
Did you see any
kneeling.
pictures of her?
No,
Oh, okay. I was gonna
no.
say, was it worth it? Like it would be one of those ones being like, man, that lady's crazy, but like crazy hot.
Yeah,
Or
would
is it
you?
where those just like, oh bitch, you're crazy. Put your clothes back on.
And she has been seen kneeling and praying in random places, often at roadsides, talking to
That's
an
that's a Texas thing, period. I've seen that in way too many places. Anyway, go on.
yeah, talking to an imaginary friend, screaming death threats, yelling profane rap lyrics, and making racist comments.
Oh, that's not okay.
Hmm. It all came to blows on January 30th in 2006. She believed she was a target of a conspiracy at the postal office where she was working at. Some say it
Okay.
was race driven. Regardless of the motive, here are the chilling events that transpired. On January 30th, 2006, she drove to her former condo in Santa Barbara, California, and killed Beverly Graham, a former neighbor with whom she had previously argued, with a shot to the head. She then drove to the mill processing plant in Goleta. San Marco entered the plant's lot by tailgating another car as it passed through the gate. She gained entry to the building by taking an employee's ID badge at gunpoint to gain electric access to the secure staff entrance. At 9 p.m. in the building's parking lot, San Marco shot Zay Fairchild, age 37, in the head. She turned to Malika Higgins and shot her at point blank range, then shot Nicola Grant. Some workers after.
I am detecting a pattern with these names.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Women,
to
right?
so I mean, not to stereotype, but I'm definitely picking up a pattern with these names.
Mm-hmm. Some workers, after hearing gunshots, went to the windows to see what was happening. San Marco reportedly turned to them and smiled. Several employees fled to a nearby fire station.
Was
San
she
Mark,
like, it's okay, you're not black?
yeah, she's like, "You're okay." Yeah, it's pretty disturbing. San Marco entered the building, which had around 80 employees inside at the time, and shot supervisor Charlotte Colton in the head. She was a pretty
Okay.
good shot, yeah.
No, 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 that's not it. I got, do we know her race?
No. Uh,
The name didn't give it away.
mm-mm. San Marco then headed to her former workstation and encountered Guadalupe Swartz, who saw her coming and tried to flee. San Marco, however, rapidly fired 4 shots into Swartz, killing her. Dexter Shannon heard nothing of the gunshots as he was working with headphones on. He was
Ooh.
fatally shot at point blank range.
Oh, what a cunt.
Yeah. San Marco then took her own life by shooting herself in the head.
She couldn't just do that part first?
It was terrible. Just terrible.
Uh, that is pretty
She
awful.
had a big body count on that one.
Being that she's in California, I am glad she shot herself because she, they wouldn't have. Well, when was this?
2006.
Yeah, no, she'd still be on death row now. So I do appreciate the fact that she did that.
Go ahead and get
Um,
it out of the way.
yes, I mean, there are times I don't like it. Uh, like I don't know in those cases like with the essay stuff you were talking about earlier with that guy,
Hmm.
because like no, I want him to go to prison so that he can kind of be at the receiving end of that same stuff.
Yes.
Um, but this one, I'm kind of glad she did that because that would have been like it was a mental health. She had bipolar racism, or whatever, because she definitely seemed to have a preference of targets there.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I'm glad she took care of that. It
Yeah.
was it was the best thing that she did.
Very, yeah.
She
Yeah.
just it's like why didn't you do that sooner? You could have did that part first.
Yeah. You had your list in the wrong order.
Yeah, it's like just change that from ascending to descending and done. All right, go ahead, get started.
I just can't believe some of these people.
Yeah.
Well, going postal quickly entered pop culture, often used in a tongue-in-cheek or exaggerated way to describe extreme anger or frustration. Movies, TV shows, and stand-up comedians frequently reference it, further embedding the term in public consciousness. However, this casual use drew criticism for trivializing the real pain and tragedy of workplace violence. The phrase going postal emerged from a dark chapter in American history reflecting the consequences of unresolved workplace tensions and mental health struggles. Though its use has declined in recent years due to shifting cultural sensitivities, its origins remain a cautionary tale about the dangers of neglecting employee well being and the importance of fostering supportive work environments. That is so true. If you don't give a shit about your employees, they're going to, for one, they're not going to work very hard for you, and they're not just
No,
not going to care. And they
that's
spend the majority of their life working at these places, and the least they can do is have a workplace or a boss that just acts like they care a little bit.
yeah. No, I agree. I've been a boss for many many years,
Yeah.
and I think if any portion of people that ever worked for me listen to this, I don't want to say all of them would like me because they'd probably comment on here if they ever caught wind of this and be like, "You were a fucking terrible boss." But there were some that you know, I think that there were more often than not that I was able to communicate my appreciation to their work, and they would deliver.
Yeah.
Uh,
All it takes is a little acknowledgement that you're uh, seeing that they're working hard, and they're going to work even harder for you.
or actually being compassionate whenever there's actually something that's interfering with them working hard. That
Hmm.
also matters.
Yes, they have a life.
Uh, yes. Uh, I going postal it still makes sense to me. I don't remember the last time I've ever said it. I know I have. Uh, the term itself does not bother me, and it has a way better ring to it than going high school. So
Yeah. I'm glad that one's never caught on.
yeah,
Well, so be nice to your fellow employee and try to be nice to people that handle your day to day needs. They are humans too, and you have no clue what they may be going through. It
Well,
costs
and
nothing
if
to be kind and polite.
it doesn't, and I was going to say, if you need a good plan for how to handle this, it was one of Dane Cook's old stand up bits where he talks about you always make sure that you're cool with the weird guy at work. You know, buy him a Snickers every now and then or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, so that whenever he shows up and you just hear shotgun blasts and see you and be like, "Thanks for the Snickers, bud," and then just go on with his shooting elsewhere.
Yep. It's kind of like on Office Space when nobody likes Melvin, but he befriends Melvin, and uh, even though he still burns down the whole building, but kind of like befriending that weird guy at your office place, like you're talking about.
Or, like Billy Madison, where he apologizes to the guys he
Yeah.
bullied.
Thank God I called you.
Oh, yeah, no, I completely forgot about it. He marks him off his kill list.
I have his Funko Pop, the Danny McGrath.
What, the guy that was bullied? The Steve
Yeah.
Buscemi?
Yeah, the one he put
They had a
lipstick on.
Funko go. Yeah, they have a
Yeah.
Funko go pop him. Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah. I should, if I could actually get it real quickly, I would get it. But I'll send a picture. Maybe we could pop it up too. But yeah, even though he's not barely in that movie, that scene where he crosses him off his
He
list
puts on
and
the
he
list.
puts on a bunch of lipstick and lays down with his high heels salon.
Yeah, I love Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, he's pretty damn great. Uh, well, that will put a bow on this episode. Join us next week after Daryl's tongue recovers from all that envelope and stamp licking as he tells us another topic that made him say, "WayWut."
You underestimate the powers of my tongue. Check out my Yelp reviews.
Oh my.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll catch y'all later. See y'all next week.
Alrighty. Bye.
Later.
Thank you for joining us for WayWut. If you would, tell your friends or your enemies that they can watch us on YouTube or Rumble. And if you don't want to see our face, or if they don't want to see our faces, you can listen to us on your preferred audio platform. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pandora, you name it, we're probably on there. Please like, review, and comment on whatever platform you joined us on today. We'd appreciate that a ton. Again, just thank you for listening and watching. We hope you'll join us next time. We'll make you say, "Wait, what?"